It is 99% good in the holy company. Holy company grants you introversion of mind. But there is also 1% bad in it. Separation from a holy person involves at least some pain. It is the only disadvantage. To avoid this pain, focus on the truth within the heart and meditate upon it. Since you are accompanied by the truth within the heart forever, you can never become sorrowful.
One can effortlessly transcend the defects in the thinking faculty with holy company's aid. The holy people will not suggest any efforts to eliminate your flaws, but their influence will enable you to do so. Such is the glory of the holy company.
You can remain as self if the non-self doesn't attract you. If you can abide as the self, the non-self can never tempt you. If you leave the divinity, you will fall back into nature.
There is no existence for the mind. Identifying yourselves with your mind is equivalent to identifying yourselves with your shadow. Does your shadow really exist? No. As you are unaware of the existing self, you identify yourself with the non-existent body, mind, honor, money, etc., thereby toiling hard, getting even more trapped in the whirlwind.
The three states of mind, waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, come and go. Since they are false, they come and go. But as you have been experiencing them since several births, they seem to be true though they are very much false. That which comes and goes is never true. The three states of mind seem true due to the prolonged habituation of presuming them true. Therefore you don't get introversion of mind. Hence first understand them to be false.
Mistakes are not manifold. Only a single mistake has been committed, presuming the body to be the self. What else can be a bigger mistake than this? When you utter I, you refer not to the Brahman, but to the body. What else can be a greater mistake than this? It is the sole mistake. When this mistake is committed, the other mistakes will get committed naturally.
Don't mind the ego. If you stop attending to it, it will get destroyed. Bliss is not somewhere else far away. It is hidden behind the ego, but you are unable to understand this. If you stop giving importance to the ego and get rid of it, the bliss will catch hold of you.
If you sit idle at home, you feel like contemplating and enjoying sensory objects. It is ignorance. If you don't feel so, it is self-knowledge. Until you attain self-knowledge, contemplation of sensory objects becomes inevitable. It is because this is attached to body-bound I. When the I is annihilated, even the sensory object contemplation is destroyed.
Lord Arunachala attracts those who have trodden the path of knowledge in their previous births. Arunachala drags them into his presence and bestows them with self-knowledge. Whoever constantly contemplates the form of Holy Hill is bound to have their ego annihilated. If one experiences death while alive, it doesn't matter whether or not the physical body exists. Even if the physical body drops, there is a continuity of life.
You orally state that God is the doer, but in the heart of your hearts, consider yourselves to be the doer. Are you able to perceive these double standards? If you have, not merely as faith, but in your experience that God is the cause for everything, the sorrow can touch neither your body nor your life, nor your surroundings. You will then reach the sorrowless state.
Until you attain that Brahman, which is entirely devoid of sorrow, Experiencing grief becomes inevitable irrespective of whichever world you gain after death. You may reach some or the other world that is good initially. But finally, you realize that there is nothing to attain in those worlds. All of them are but illusions of the mind.
You possess the I thought, which is non-existent in a deep sleep. However, when you wake up, I thought binds itself with the body. After the arising of the I thought, you get the thought called mine. Later emerge the world, God, happiness, sorrow, and merit, sin. Get rid of the I, the source of everything. Only then will everything else be subdued.
Don't worry, even if you get thousands of thoughts. All these come to the false I only. There are no thoughts to the true I. You get the thoughts only when the I thought exists. The source of the I thought exists within you. Reach the same. To reach there, forget the bad and remember the good received from others. But you remember that which ought to be forgotten and forget that which ought to be remembered. Then how can you get introverted?
The dream state appears short, whereas the waking state appears long, but the waking state is just as false as the dream state. Learn to attain the deep sleep state in the waking state. You will achieve self-realization.
Look at thyself and then at the world. Who are you? You are the self. When you realize that you are the self, the whole world also seems to be the self.
I don't say that all your hardships, losses, and enjoyments are false, but they are all as true as your mind.
Leave the body to its destiny and carry on the purpose for which you have come to this earth.
Question the I. Who are you? The self-enquiry of, who am I, is not the answer. It is the question. Self-knowledge is the answer to it. When the I is questioned, who are you? It stops getting externalized and gets diverted towards its source and birthplace, that is, it gets introverted. If you question it and drive it inwards, it reaches its source, the abode of God.
Liberation is impossible as long as you consider yourselves to have taken birth. Who secures liberation? It is only one who realizes that he is birthless. As you identify with the body, you think, I was born, and hence I will die. But the self is birthless. Where is the question of its death when it was not born? You are the self. Only after self-realization you realize that you are birthless.
Usually, a porter carries your luggage when you get down at a railway station. He holds it for the sake of money and not willingly. He waits for the destination and an appropriate time to come to put down the luggage. A Brahma Gyani also feels the same way regarding his body. He has nothing to gain by possessing a body. Instead, he finds service to the body an additional job.
Do you want the God who appears disappears, or accompanies you throughout the 24 hours? That which accompanies you throughout the 24 hours is Brahman alone. It will never abandon you. Where is the question of leaving when thou art that Brahman? You are not apart from Brahman. Getting rid of the sense of separateness from Brahman alone is the goal of all your spiritual efforts.